So we back again Wednesday night. Eagles Elite Podcast. Y'all know who he is. Y'all know what we coming for. But better week. Feel encouraged this week. I saw some good things. Everything ain't peaches and cream, but there's movement in the direction we want to go. Got another game this week. I know a lot of people like, oh yeah, you play, the Jets, blase this, blase that. But listen, man, they're NFL franchise just like all the rest of them. And hey, you never know. That's why you play the games on Sundays. But I feel more encouraged than I did for last week. That's like 1,000% sure. Like no questions. So, hey, y'all know it's Eagles Elite. Y'all know we talking Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all know we ripping into it. Y'all know we getting it done. That's what we do. Good or bad, we here for it. So with that, we got to bring in two very important people to this specific podcast. Wyatt, my guy, what up?
What's happening, everyone? Another week, another Eagles dub. I'm ready to get all into it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're gonna do a quick flip here. Eagles Diva. What
What
does
it
it do?
do? What it do, y'all? We back and we got a dub, so let's get into it.
And this week, I'm gonna even follow the protocols that we have in place, and we're gonna play the video first. Then we're gonna get into it, and not a topic, and dig into the video because can't do the same thing every week. But y'all know what it is. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with
Swatted. The kick is away. And the kick is... It's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
All right, y'all. So we already got some comments from the fan. So Philly say ain't nobody getting it this time. So she hits us with the what's up.
What's happening, Philly?
What's
Yep.
going
Then
on?
C Cobb with the hey Philly. And also a repeat of that hey Philly. So y'all know how we do. We keep this very simple for everybody. If you're new to the show, you've been watching, it's the same thing every week. So we're gonna start off with them updates. So my man Wyatt about to hit us with the news and notes. We call them Eagles updates around these parts.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much happening this week. The main news is that we opened up the 21-day practice window for our boy Nakobe Dean. So it's looking like he could possibly be coming back into the lineup. I'm not sure if he will be starting because of how well Cunningham and Morrow have been playing as of recently, but you know how the organization is. They could probably easily just slap him back into the starting lineup. But I mean, that's a conversation we can get into, though. But it's nice to have someone back from injured reserve.
Diva, do you have any thoughts on the return of Nakobe Dean? Or the
I am
intended return
happy.
of Kobe Dean, I should say.
I am happy that my boy is back. Hopefully, the defense will be able to communicate a lot better because the leader will be back. He can see things that they can't see, so I'm ready.
Yeah. I just feel like when you have your quarterback for the defense returning, I've been talking about how this would make a difference. Now that it's here, I feel like you're definitely going to see the difference. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about because at the end of the day, you need that guy to put everybody in the correct positions. And he was gone. He was. And the reason that he was gone was obviously due to injury. But now that he's back, we're going to get to see the defense as close to, I'm going to say, whole as we're going to be this year, right? Because we have some guys that are not coming back. But for people that should be returning, this is as close to the defense being whole as we're probably going to get. But I'm excited for it. It's a much needed move. Hype that it happened. All right. Why any other news for us?
I mean, the only other thing I have is just like the basic injury report, and the one big surprise that's on that is Darius Slay. He was a he didn't participate in today's walkthrough. It was a projection, but it was with a knee injury, which is kind of concerning. Like, we were dealing with having to have Job in the outside on the other side and had Bradbury in the slot. And then it seems like as soon as we bring Roby in, it seems like kind of everything was starting to click. And now possibly we may have Slay missing here this game. We don't know. Hopefully he's able to practice here by the end of the week.
Yeah, I'm not going to go as far as to count him out as of yet, just because I am concerned with what they will do behind him. But, you know, the good news is, as far as people who are showing up as injured and possibly not playing as of today on the depth chart, Rashad Penny, still dealing with whatever the sickness he has is. Tupeludo, Fletcher Cox, and Sidney Brown. So those are guys that, you know, as of the date, of course, we have time for some of those to change. And then people like Bradbury, not Bradbury, but Slay, who may have been on the injury report, to have a chance to come off. It may just been a rest day, and it just did not practice. You know, you got to kind of give a quote unquote reason why they're not practicing. So it could have just been that. Let's hope that that's, you know, the situation for the guys who have been playing and aren't showing up on the depth chart as of yet as possibly injured. But hey, you never know. It doesn't take much for a guy to get injured. Now, what I find interesting for me is, let's say Slay does miss some time. We had some Eli Ricks signings this week. We saw Eli Ricks on the football field.
Finally.
He didn't look bad. And he didn't look bad, right? So, you know, got him and Ringo sitting there. So if there is anything happening that we really don't know about, we got some guys who could be there, who could make things happen. So that can, you know, turn into a positive real quickly.
And it's not like Slay misses a lot of time. Like, I feel he's barely missed any games since being on the squad.
Yeah, I agree. He is a guy that does have the ability to show up, which is the best ability you can have. It's a guy that can show up and play for you every week. So he does give us that. But, you know, as far as updates go, Diva, anything on your end?
No, I just got the stats, but there's no updates that I have.
All right, fair enough. So I also want to make sure I shout out that for the first time in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles franchise, we are 5-0 for back-to-back seasons. First time ever.
It's a new day on the organization.
And also, there's only 2 teams that are undefeated. 2 teams. And one of those teams reside in Philadelphia, our Eagles. The other one, of course, San Francisco 49ers. They handled their business against the Arlington football team. But that's what you're supposed to do. When teams come out, whoever's put in front of you, you make sure that people know who you are, or as we would say, who he is. That's what we've been doing. That's what San Francisco's been doing. So excited about what I saw this past week. I'm excited about a lot of differences from where we were sitting here talking last week. So, you know, there's a couple more things we could talk about in the updates, but the important thing to me is it's time to move it to this recap. Let's spend a little time. Let's marinate here on this dub. So, Diva, we're going to start off with you. I know you got a couple of stats for us, and then your preliminary thoughts on this win against the Rams.
Oh, okay. So the stats were Jalen Hurts had he completed 25 out of 38 attempts. He had 303 yards and 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jalen Hurts was also the top rusher, of course. DeAndre Swift was right behind him with 17 carries, 70 yards. Kenneth Gainwell had 7 carries for 17 yards. And then Dallas Goedert, we finally seen Goddard get the touches that we wanted him to see. He had 8 records for 117 yards. A.J. Brown had another big day for 8 records for 127 yards. DeAndre Swift had receiving yards, 6 targets, 38. Kenny Gainwell had 2 for 7 yards. Quez, old trash tail, had 3 for 4 yards. Devontae had 5 for 1. Jack Stoll had 1 for 1. And then as far as the defense goes, defense balled out. Jalen Carter had another career high day as a rookie. Blankenship, of course, did his thing. You had Blankenship had 5 tackles. Darius Slay, Mario was 4 for 1. Sweat was 3. Jalen Carter 3. Bradbury had 2, and of course Hassan Reddick saved the day with those 2 big sacks at the end. So yeah, we had a good game. At first the defense, that middle, boy, they just kept learning that same play with Cooper Kupp in the middle, and every time he was picking up yardage. Then they started hitting the Pua, and they knew that we was weak in that middle. But I was glad that we were able to adjust the middle because we had no choice. If not, they would keep running that same play, and they probably would have won off that one play. Offense looked a lot better. I feel like Brian Johnson is finally getting comfortable because he did that tush push, boy. He kept doing it, and he kept doing it, and he kept doing it. And yeah, so I'm starting to feel a little bit better about Brian Johnson. I think he's starting to feel better. Jalen looked a lot more comfortable. He's looking more and more comfortable each game. And he's still got some throws that he can't. It's just situational throws that he be throwing, like that one he tried to get to AJ, and he underthrew it, and so got picked off. But other than that, they ran the ball. It was a few times I was like, why aren't you running the ball? Why are we keep throwing it? Because you see Jalen had 303 yards, 38 attempts. So that was a lot throwing the ball. But overall, we look better. So we're looking better each week. So I'm satisfied. And the fact that we shut Aaron Donald down, because everybody kept saying we had to worry about him, but he was shut out.
What do you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, the offense went out there and did its thing. I feel like throughout the course of these 5 games, like Diva said, it seems like Jalen Hurts is kind of really coming back into the form that we saw him, where he was let off from last year. In those first couple games, he did look a little uncomfortable. I mean, it could have just attributed to the new offense and the new coordinator and all that. Seems like he's back to his old self. He's actually having those runs we were used to seeing from last year, even though the one was super scary because we thought he got his knee taken from him. It looked like he got hyperextended his knee, got stuck in the turf. But dude's fine. It was just some of those QB draws that we haven't seen. I mean, they've been very lenient on those this past couple weeks, and then they decided to run 2 of them in the red zone. I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is not working. You have Swift. Like, why aren't you using Swift in the red zone? I don't understand why Brian Johnson refuses to use Swift in the red zone. It just doesn't make sense. And that's really the biggest issue, other than the first half defense, is this red zone offense. We should have put up like over 30 points on these Rams. We should have had close to a 40 burger on them. And it's just this red zone offense is just so, I don't know. It's just wishy-washy. It's the play calling. It's the situational offense, whether it's just the QB draws or you're using Kenny Gainwell in the red zone, or you're just not finding people open and you're not scheming people open. Like, I understand you had Quez wide open there, but I feel like Jalen, like the meme going around, is like he knew he wasn't going to catch that ball if he threw it to him in the end zone.
Right.
I mean, you had a dude that didn't even hit a wide open hole on going out and around. Like, you chose to keep it going, and you lost a couple yards on that. Like, what are you doing? And there's like, I don't want to see Quez in the starting lineup going forward. Like, Oz fully earned that spot over these past couple weeks, and I feel like he doesn't make that play. He hits that hole and keeps going. I don't know. It's just the red zone is really what the offense needs to be working on, because it seems like we're able to drive down the field. We're able to move the ball pretty much like we were doing last year, somewhat at ease. And that really helps with, AJ Brown getting just these huge yards after catch. What a great catch, that one-handed across the field, man. It was wild. Like, he was saying, like, he didn't even know he caught the ball at first, and he just kept running. But that defense, it looked very bad. Like, I thought we were in for a long day in that first half. But I mean, credit to Sean Desai for making some adjustments. He was actually blitzing and putting pressure on Matt Stafford, which really threw him off his game. Like, why weren't you trying to incorporate some of those things in the beginning of the game? I find it hard to believe that Roby made that much of a difference in that second half. But I mean, he went out there and did his thing against Cooper Kupp. I mean, on a short week, getting used to the playbook and everything. I'm eager to see what he's going to be doing going forward with this defense. But it was nice to see them actually adjust. We're not used to seeing a defensive coordinator adjust on the fly. And they were able to get it done. Jalen Carter had those couple sacks. And of course, Haason Reddick, like you said, was able to, seal the game at the very end. So hopefully these are things we can build upon going into these next couple weeks on what's actually working and continue on with that, especially with guys starting to get healthy a little bit here now.
Yeah, I mean, no need to retread what you guys are talking about here, but I did like the Roby addition. I said last week I feel like he's a guy we should put in just because sometimes it's not necessarily how good or bad you are, but what you bring and what you allow to change. I feel like Desai had done a really good job the first 3 weeks with making adjustments, but in week 4, he just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what got to me, what made me kind of frustrated with the defense. He definitely did, I agree, go back to what he was doing, and that, is helpful. So we do have a comment here. I'm okay with Johnson. Pull it up here. I'm okay with Johnson getting things worked out right now to get these things, but we better get this fixed by Miami, or it's not going to be pretty. Miami can go point to point with us.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fair statement. And if you are watching, make sure you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and allow StreamYard to have access to your Facebook account so that we can see who it is. Or always feel free to hop on YouTube at youtube.com/@Eagles Elite Podcast. Make sure you give us one of those likes, follow, and share while you're there. But hey, just an option. But yeah, I really liked just progress on both sides, I thought, from play calling as well as play. I feel like the line looked a little bit better than last week. I'm still disappointed in Steen not getting reps, right? Not necessarily that he has to be the starter, but if he's going to be our future, then I need him to get some reps. We got Suapeta playing right guard, which versatility is a big thing for our offensive line. We've always had that, and we've always kind of lauded that. But, I want Steen to get some steps, and this would be a good game maybe against the Jets to see if we can get him in some. I'm not saying you have to start him. I'm not saying he has to play the whole game, but let's work him in and let's see what he can do in real live game action, because there may be points in the game where we're going to need him, right? There may be points in the season where we need him. So let's get him some reps now where it's not a need, but more of a learning experience, trial by fire. I talked about earlier, Keely Ringo got in, had some plays, looked pretty solid. Right? I mean, when I saw him in, I'm like, okay, yeah. Ringo looks pretty good, and I saw Riggs get in. I saw Riggs play well, so it's kind of the things I was talking about last week. Guys don't have to get in and play the whole game, but give them some reps. Show them, hey, we're counting on you in the future. We're going to pop you in now. We're going to see what you got. I'm hoping Sidney Brown can get back. That would be very beneficial. But even without him, we were able to make some plays. We were able to do some things the other guys at the safety position, were able to play well. Our linebackers, linebacker core, you got to talk about it. There's only 3 of them. Nicholas Morrow, Zach Cunningham, Christian Ellis. We still saw a little Nolan Smith, but not a lot of Nolan Smith. Reddick looks to be back in form now that he has that cast off his hand. He looks to be back to the Reddick.
Yeah.
And then Edmonds, Justin Evans, and Reed Blankenship. So we're kind of thin at some positions, but the guys we have feel like guys that really can play and guys that really can make a difference. So I'm loving that, and I'm loving the fact that that's what we're building on, right? Depth is definitely a concern. It's always a concern for injury purposes, but the guys that we have are starting to play together. And I think Dean coming back, and like I said, I've been touting this the whole time he's out. He's that guy to place. He's that guy to call that audible. He's the guy to kind of read, hey, shift backwards, shift forward, shift to the left, shift to the right. You cover him instead, like making those small changes. And I'm not saying that it's not happening, but it doesn't look as natural. It looks like there's a little more confusion because you don't have the guy that spent all off season working on being that there. So I'm excited about his possibility to return this week, and if not this week, hopefully next week. But I'm, excited about him, getting activated, his 21-day window to try to get him back on the field. I'm hoping Fletcher Cox is gonna, be good to go this week.
Right.
I'd love to have that depth back. Brown. I'd love to have everybody back, right? But use the weapons, run the ball every week. We did a better job. There were some situations that you said where we kind of fell back into the let's throw the ball all game type mentality, but it's getting better. It's getting better. We're seeing better, and that's what we need.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So,
And even though Fletcher Cox was out, it was nice to kind of get to see some of those young guys get even more reps going forward, to see what those guys look like on the line without a Fletcher Cox. Like, this is kind of a preview of what's going to be coming here in the next couple of years in the future.
Right.
and we got my boy Vic Gala
What up, Vic?
in the chat. What up, Vic? Appreciate you
happening?
for dropping in to check us out, man. But do you have any other thoughts on the on this wonderful Rams game?
Nah, I'm just glad we pulled that W out. Because that was important. We played a lot better. That was really what was important. Now we should have blown them out because we had opportunity, but we making strides to get to be. So imagine if we really can get it all together and click on all ends, like we said last year. Imagine how tough we'll be. Period.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, 100% agree. That's literally where I was going. This is what we're looking like, and we still see things, right? We still see everybody kind of a little bit not really all the way dialed in yet. It's a little bit more thinking than you want. But I think what I'm seeing is we're seeing a lot of people that they know what to do, but it hasn't become a second nature yet. They don't automatically do it. They have to take that second to think about it. And when you have to take that time to think about it, there's times where that causes things to happen that you don't necessarily want to happen. All right. And then my guy, Vic says, my pleasure. How are y'all doing? We are doing good, Vic, man. We are doing well.
Yeah.
Whatever
Going
the
off
plan,
what you
man.
were saying is like, it seems like we're finally maybe hopefully start to gel going forward on defense, just because through these first 5 weeks, we've had so much like turnaround and people playing different positions. There hasn't been any consistency as far as that secondary going forward through the season. So hopefully now the guys are starting to get a little healthier. Maybe they'll stop kind of moving guys around nearly as much. Like, I understand there's going to be some scheme changes or whatever what have you here and there. But as long as we have the guys healthy, we should be able to have some consistency in that secondary going forward. And man, we need to get Morrow on that jugs machine and on those fumble recoveries. Dude had 2 turnovers you could have got, man.
Right.
You ate some popcorn before you went out there on the field, got some Butterfingers.
And they was practicing that today too. I think it was today.
I saw that. I wonder why.
Well, man, hey, it's good that at least we're making the changes real time, and what we're doing is say, hey, look, right, let's do something about it. I mean, we can pick apart the game, right? And Hurts, I was really excited for him to get the ball out and really get my guy involved in the game, because I feel like that's another like weapon that we haven't been using. And when you don't use the weapons, the other teams don't respect it. So I'm not expecting guys to have games like that every week, just because I understand it's who's open. This week it was Smitty that didn't get a lot of catches. He had the one play that got called back, was a big play, right? But he's okay with that. And everybody's okay with it not being their week when the effort is there by the other team to take them away. This felt like we're going to take Devontae Smith away game. What you took from that is that's probably not the right way to go, because you're leaving A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert kind of able to do their thing, because going them one-on-one is like leaving them wide open. So I think it's just a matter of looking at what's there each week, and the offense is saying, okay, this is what we came on, this is what we plan to do. But as we look at the game, we see that this is now available. So let's make those adjustments, right? The ones don't have to be for big yards. I don't care how many yards Swift has. Well, I'm not going to lie. I do have my fantasy, so I do care how many yards he gets. But what I'm saying is,
I do too.
Yeah, I also want him to run for the sake of running, right? And what I mean by that is be there so that the other team says they're going to run the ball. Whether it's a good week for them to run the ball or not, they are going to run the ball. So we're going to have to say we're going to take the run play. we're going to have to always spy Jalen Hurts. We're always going to have to do these extra things. And I'm fine with them doing those things. But take the time to get prepared. Take the time to be ready so that when those opportunities are there, when the big run happens, you're good for it. The reps are there. Swift's legs are into. He's taking a few bumps. I don't mind you mixing in some Gainwell. I don't mind some Boston Scott. But at the end of the day, run the ball. Run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to a buddy of mine that's a fan of the Lions, and he was saying, man, Philly was always known as a running team, bro. Like everybody already know when you play Philly, it's a running team. Why y'all ain't been running the ball like that lately? You know, and I said, I said, it's funny when you got fans of other teams saying the same thing we've been saying. But I chalk it up. I chalk it up to new coordinator, new things happening, and just needing to get everything on the same page. Get the players there, get the coaches there, the position coaches, the OC, and we gotta. I'm not gonna call him Skinny Pants Nicky today. Call him Nick Sirianni. Please, sir, no more. I'm all out of a pass play on a 3rd and 11 to a running kid game. Let's not do that.
No, please no. I don't have anything against Kenny Gainwell. It's just that the way that they've been trying to use him. It's just, it doesn't seem right for the offense. It seems like the offense doesn't click nearly as much when Kenny Gainwell's in there compared to DeAndre Swift. That's why I would like to see Boston Scott in there a little bit more. Let's switch it up a little bit. These teams haven't even seen. I mean, he's been on the team for a couple years now, but like we haven't seen really much of him at all this season. I mean, he was out the one game, but like you got to, keep the other side guessing. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, Boston Scott can catch the ball, but I think he's a little shiftier, and I think he runs a little harder than Kenny Gainwell does. I think he's able to pick up more yards on certain situations than Kenny Gainwell will be able to do. And I mean, it's not that Kenny Gainwell doesn't have big plays. He had that one first down. I didn't think he was going to get anywhere near close to getting in this game against the Rams. He was able to go along the outside and just skirt for that first down. I was very impressed with that. But those kinds of plays are just too far between. Like, you don't see that many breakout plays with Kenny Gainwell, where it's like DeAndre Swift, it's like every other play he's getting 10 yards, 12 yards, like huge chunks. It's like, why aren't we giving this dude the ball more, or at least giving someone else an opportunity instead of just forcing these carries with Kenny Gainwell?
Right. And I mean, Swift, because Swift is hungry. Like, I'm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you feed hungry dogs, right? That's what you do. Dog hungry, you feed them. So
you know what I mean?
I completely feel it. Yeah, I'm with it 1,000%. I completely feel it. But I also honestly, just for the sake of play and everything, what I would really love is to really save Swift some for the 4th. So my question is, and I've been looking at the games, right? Would it be better to use Gainwell between the 20s? Not inside the 20s, but between the 20s. Gainwell is a guy I'd rather have out there on 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line or the 40-yard line, right? Than 3rd and 11 from the 12-yard line. I think once you get inside the 20s, that's when you got to look at Swift or Scott. And then if Penny can get himself healthy, then Penny. Because I think those are the guys that are more effective in that area. And I understand that you want to sometimes switch it up, but I think we've gotten to a point where, and I mean, we as the coaches, not us, have gotten to a point where we feel like, Gainwell's that guy to break out the big run for the 15. He's not breaking out the big run for the 15 because it's more condensed. And a lot of times when he's in the game, he's running or catching out of the backfield. Got to give him plays where he's just out there blocking, where he's just out there being a decoy sometime too. So things to work on still. But I believe Brian Johnson, given time to implement everything that he wants to implement, because we don't know the fights, the arguments, the discussions that he has to have with Sirianni behind the scenes as well. But I do believe, given the time, he's going to be a really, 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 really strong player, a strong coach, and make that side of the ball really good for as long as he decides to be with us. I think growing pains were expected. They frustrate, don't get me wrong. Eagles fan, you're frustrated because you want to come out build on what you had last year. That's what we want to do, right? That's what we want to do. I mean, none of us said, oh, we're going to come out and play just like we didn't. We expect to be winning. We expect to be looking at, number one seed. We expect those things. Not saying that they're a given, they're a guarantee, but that is what we expect. And in order to get those things, we're going to have to do. And we're doing it so far. We're not doing it the way that Eagles fans necessarily want to see it, but it is getting done. We are winning games, right? They're not pretty wins. Even if this wasn't a pretty win, it wasn't horrible, but this wasn't a win where you say, yeah, Philly dominated. But we did enough. That first half, goodness. That donut hole, they was eating in there. But then we say, you know what? Step back. We're going to make some changes. We're going to put some guys in that can make the right plays. We throw Roby in, it makes a big difference. And we want to believe it's not just Roby. I don't believe it's just Roby. But when you put a guy in that knows how to play, he might not necessarily know every X and O and every place to be, but he knows how to play football. He knows how to guide that guard in the slot. And you don't put everything in his head about all the audibles and all the different things. You just let him go out there and play. Sometimes that's what works best. And I feel like that's part of what happened and why we looked as good as we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got to stop. We do a lot of throwing the ball on 1st and 10. That was another thing that I wasn't understanding. Like, why are you throwing the ball on 1st and 10?
And then as soon as they make like 2 or 3 in a row, they're like, oh, let's just keep throwing the ball because it's working. They don't go to the run at all. They're like, we don't need that if the pass is working. So let's just keep throwing the ball over and over and over until we get stopped. Oh, it's 3rd and 10 or whatever. Okay, now we'll run the ball. And
Right.
it doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah. Mixing it up, being varying what you're doing. It can't always be a run. It can't always be a pass. Mixing it up is definitely important. I think first downs, we should run the ball more. I definitely agree with that. I guess the thought is, we go out and keep throwing it. We're just going to surprise them. You might the first 5 times, but I mean, after a while, everybody's going to figure out that you're just going to throw the ball on first down. But yeah, you got to mix it up. And then
and why not try like rollouts in red zone? We haven't seen if you're having so much trouble in the red zone, try some rollouts. Get Jalen Hurts out of there. Like he's the only reason he's rolling out right now is because he has to. Like there's people after him. Whereas like what if you design some of those things and get some of these receivers open, then you shouldn't have nearly as much trouble.
So you're saying that you believe that we should do bootlegs, right? That is crazy. That's unheard of. That's revolutionary.
We should have done bootlegs, a lot of them plays, especially when we were like 1st and goal. If you wasn't going to run it, why not do a rollout? Or even when you were at the 10-yard line. You know what I'm saying? You want to throw it. Like,
and my guy says it's so weird that most offenses don't utilize the run. It's not a secret. Utilize the run, set the tone, and set up for the play action. Every winning team has done this. That is so very true. True words have not been said on this show. And Victor isn't even an Eagles fan, but he understands that.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody that watch football and know football should understand that. It's basic football.
And for a team like the Eagles that wants to throw the ball and wants to take it deep and take the top off the defense, why wouldn't you do that? Like it doesn't make any sense. You're not going to be able to open up that pass without running it. And you see how many times they try to go for a deep ball each game at this point. They're trying to get it to AJ or Devontae. And I mean, it hasn't worked out a lot this season so far. I mean, we've seen a couple decent plays. We've also seen a couple turnovers off of that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, the variation. Like another one of those interceptions this week where you're like, why?
Yeah, that ball shouldn't even have been thrown. You were having so much consistency moving the ball, and you just had to take that one shot. You're getting a little too ahead of yourself.
I'm gonna need, and I said this about Donovan McNabb when he was a quarterback. I didn't say it about Vic much because he would do it. But a lot of quarterbacks that we've had, I always say audible. Jeff Garcia didn't feel like he wanted to audible. Rodney Peete didn't feel like he wanted to audible. Kevin Corn-McCobb, he didn't want to audible. Like a lot of these guys just didn't want to audible, it felt like. McNabb never wanted to audible, it felt like.
Never.
I want, audible, right? When you get out there the field, you line up and you like, you can say about the work. Kill it, kill, and it'll go to another play, man.
You're the one looking at it.
Yeah, don't put yourself in a bad play because that's what's called. Like, right, we're not Pop Warner, we're not Pee Wee, we're not high school or college. You're not getting pulled out if you don't run and play the coach calls. So, Jalen Alexander Hurts, please, sir, use that brilliant football mind that was cultivated from a kid. Your father's a coach. Look at that field and say, this player is not going to work. Let's audible out of it.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Those are the situations you can tell is because that's when he's holding the ball and he's trying to wait for people to get open, and then that's when you can tell like that play was. So why didn't you just audible that play when you saw what the defense was doing? Like, make it make sense, Jalen.
You take that responsibility on, man. You the big dog. You QB1. You're the face of the franchise, man. You got to do it. We need you. But yeah, I mean, hey, we could talk about this Rams game for another 20 minutes and have valid things that we could talk about. But we got a few more things that we got to slide into here. So we also, of course, have to talk about who is our we'll go opposite this week. So who was your weakest link for the Philadelphia Eagles?
That darn donut hole.
Yeah, the donut hole. If I had to pick a specific player, I would say Terrell Edmonds because that dude getting burnt toast every single week. Like, this dude just has not looked good.
Yeah, well, a few of them was getting burnt. I know Slay got burnt on Cooper Kupp, and I'm like, you need help over the top and under the bottom. Cooper Kupp is too tall.
It was like within a couple plays of each other, Slay and Bradbury got burnt. I was like, oh no,
Bradbury got burnt, yo.
It's gonna be one of those days.
Nakua burnt Bradbury.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp and Nakua are two guys that's gonna burn everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't put that over the top help and it reads the play right, they're burn most people. That's what's so dangerous. You got two Cooper Kupps and one's bigger. Nakua's big. Now I understand what we need to do differently so that they don't continue to do what they did to us.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna say Job. I'm gonna go Job. That's a safe pick. I'm gonna go Job. Once he wasn't playing a lot, we look better. I'm definitely gonna go Job. Because I don't like, I mean, I said last week, put him on the bench and don't play him at all. That's a bit much. That's a bit much.
Well,
last week.
Something got to change. Something got to give. Because that boy, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody need to work with him a little harder.
Yeah, someone got to do something here, or find someone else to go in and play for him at that spot. Maybe like try Ricks or somebody else instead of Joe.
I'm trying to figure out why we're not using Ricks more. I mean, because to me, I feel like he could catch on quicker, which he played. We saw him a little bit and he did fine. So I'm not understanding why you're not going to use him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. And I can understand like Sidney Brown because he's hurt and stuff, but like Josh Jobe, you got Eli Ricks. We even saw Mario Goodrich out there. And it was like, this dude was a healthy scratch the other week. And everybody was like, nobody believes in Mario Goodrich. And all of a sudden he's out there starting. And it's like, what's going on here?
Crazy.
I wish we would see some more of Nolan Smith too. Like,
I don't understand.
He's healthy and everything, and it's like he's only getting a couple of snaps a game, playing mostly like special teams and everything.
After like 2 weeks, Desai said 2 weeks ago that he was gonna get more snaps, and I haven't seen it.
No,
last time that I checked, I don't see more snaps.
I mean, the last time I saw him on like the play-by-play or whatever is when he put that hit on Baker Mayfield in that Bucs game. That was the last time I actually remember seeing him.
Yeah, me too.
So I saw him a few plays, but nothing to note, nothing more or nothing different. All right, we got Playmaker. If y'all remember, Playmaker came on last week to preview the game with us. He says, congratulations on your win. Appreciate that, playmaker. And like I say, man, first time ever on Eagles Elite, someone for the other team came on, hey, I think y'all going to win the game. So you got to respect the man that says, hey, I'm looking at this. I know my team. I want to win. But when I honestly look at this matchup, I think that we're not going to get it done. So much respect to playmaker for that. So, Diva, we're going to start with you on this one too. Elite performance of the game. Who do you have for that? What person do you have for that?
I have Mr. Hassan Reddick, who had 5 pressures, 2 hurries, 2 sacks, and 1 hit on the QB.
All right. Wyatt, who do you have, my good man?
I had the other bull on the defensive line, Jalen Carter. I mean, dude was getting double teamed all game. And as a rookie, I mean, he's one of the top DTs in the league right now as a rookie, and it's insane. I mean, he's just, without Fletcher Cox on that line, he got a little bit more reps, and you got to see really what he was capable of in this game. And it's just, he's a game wrecker. Because as soon as he was able to get in and got hands on Matt Stafford, that's when he really started getting uncomfortable. And that's really what kind of started changing for that Rams offense.
Baby Fletch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with my guy who finally got a chance to show what he could do, and that would be Dallas Goedert. Love what Goedert brought to the team this past week, man. Just getting the opportunity and making it happen. Like a lot of times, you understand, like you have to have a lot of things go well to have a good game, right? You have to play well, you have to block well, especially when you're tight end. There's a lot of things that you have to do. And the fact that he was able to do all those things, as well as catch everything thrown his way for the most part, and have a good game, that's what you want to see from your guys. And I hope this leads to more opportunities for him. I still haven't seen him get those little baby screen plays that he was taking to the house last year. But better than the weeks previous, right? 8 for 117 and a touchdown. That's a stat line that you expect to see, especially when you don't see Smitty contributing a lot, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He only had 1 official catch. So when Goedert can step up and have that many catches and Smitty's not playing well, that says, oh, we're starting to look like Philly from last year. Right?
Yeah.
I
love the way Goedert runs too. I feel like he's constantly just throwing people across the field. He's like every time he gets the ball, he's just slamming people into the ground.
And you see it took like 3 or 4 defenders to like literally take AJ down by his collar, because that boy was just what do he's like, get off me. That boy's a whole man and a beast. You hear me? Yeah, what he said.
So playmaker says AJ Brown, we couldn't stop him. Nope. I feel it, playmaker, and I think most weeks AJ Brown could be a player of the week. I mean, I know you don't watch Eagles games every week. We have no reason to, but pretty much
3 games over 100 yards.
The way it goes, man, is Josh Jobe can always be, your weakest link. AJ Brown can always be your player of the week. Your elite player, elite performance of the game can always be AJ Brown. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
always open.
Yeah. 1K always open, baby. Love it. But we're going to now devote the last part of the show to our last topic for the week. And I know that we are all prepared for this because this coming Sunday, we are going to be facing the New York Jets. Now, in context, if we had this game and we had Aaron Rodgers there by this point in the season, level of concern is a lot higher because Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great quarterback. The mushrooms, the dark rooms, the retreats and all that, that's wild. But when he hit that field and he's healthy, this is one of the best quarterbacks, you've ever seen play the game, right? Maybe the mushrooms and the dark retreats and all that helps. I don't know. I don't do them, but it definitely is. But without him, we're looking at Zach Wilson. Now, 3 weeks ago, I said on another show that I would take Carson Wentz over Zach Wilson. That's the low level of respect I have for Zach Wilson as a quarterback. But I've been watching his games because, they're always on even though he's not playing. Right.
Yeah.
Because they already have everything set up and you can't flex anything yet. So Rob Carlton says, let's go Eagles. What's up, Rob? Fly, Eagles, fly.
Birds.
What up, Rob?
Sir, yes, sir. Appreciate all the interactions and everybody watching. And then we got
Man,
our guy Sam in the building.
fly
Fly
Eagles
Eagles
What up,
Fly.
fly.
Sam?
Hey,
Yes,
Sam,
sir.
I'm gonna get a look. You know what the look is for. I'm gonna leave it. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. I'm just gonna leave it there. So, Wyatt, what do you have for this game this week? What do we need to do to secure a victory over the New York Jets?
That defense needs to be eaten. Specifically, that defensive line, like you saw, that was really the game changer last week against Matt Stafford in that second half. We need to start that ASAP as soon as the game starts. Put as much pressure on Zach Wilson as possible. I mean, like you said at the beginning of the show here, like it's any given Sunday. You know, this is still an NFL team. They can still go out there and get a dub. They almost went out there and beat the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. I mean, it seems like Zach Wilson, he obviously isn't the greatest quarterback in the world, but I feel like he's been kind of putting it together a little bit these past couple weeks. I'm not going to go out there and say they're trash or anything because, you know, it's any given Sunday. They can come out here and we are known to make bad quarterbacks look good on occasion. I mean, that's just facts
Whack
at
and
this
cheese.
point.
Back
We've
to
seen it.
woke.
Jeez.
We've seen it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was coming out here slinging against us, but that's all the more reason why we got to put as much pressure on him, because even more so than like Matt Stafford, as soon as you get that pressure on, I feel like he's cooked for the rest
Oh,
of
he's
that
cooked.
game.
He's
He's
cooked.
cooked for the rest of that game. As soon as you start getting pressure on, he's going to start seeing ghosts like Sam Darnold against the
Yeah.
Pats a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's the main key. And as long as they're able to do that, that should definitely help that secondary out, especially if, say, Slay wasn't able to play and they had to put Bradbury on the other side and then Josh Jobe on the outside where Bradbury was. I don't know how they're going to be able to maneuver that. But that would definitely help out on the outside there. Offense, you just got to keep doing what you're doing. This is a really good defense. The Jets do have a really strong defense, but I mean, we faced pretty strong defenses already this season. This should be no different. We should still be able to go out there and do what we need to do. Biggest thing is just red zone execution. That should be what they should have been working on all week this week is red zone execution, figuring out how to get that ball in the end zone. And we should be good to go. We should be seeing multiple sacks from multiple players on that defensive line this week.
I dig it. Diva, what do you got for us?
Dang, I mean, why just said it all, really.
He can't look. Why can't go first no more?
I mean, why just that? I mean, you're right. I mean, everything you said is true. Like the one thing we got to fix is that middle, because even though Wilson is trash, if he know how to hit that middle, then we got a problem. And hopefully with Nakobe Dean being back, that will kind of, I guess in so many words, make the hole a little smaller, and everybody should be where they're at. And if not, he's the captain, so he know, like, yo, you go over here, you go over there. So hopefully that will be a little bit better. But yeah, Zach Wilson is trash. You get just a little bit of pressure, honey. He see Hassan Reddick coming from the left or the right. Oh, listen, honey, he is going to throw an interception. So all you got to do is get a little bit of pressure on that boy, and it should be no reason. So I want to see the defense eat on this game, like eat. Offense, I heard that the coach talking about he gonna stop the little tush push. Good luck on that, buddy. But
Yeah.
I want to see tush push. I want to see more of Swift in the red zone. I don't want to see Gainwell when we like 3rd and 11. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Gainwell in the red zone. I don't. I'm sorry. Put Boston Scott in the red zone, because Boston Scott runs a little harder when it comes to the red zone and running the ball.
Mhm.
Okay. And I don't want Jalen to be the top rusher again, as I keep saying. I don't want Jalen to be the top rusher either. And I don't want him throwing the ball 38 times either. Y'all. Okay. So mix it up. Like, mix it up. Stop making him force the ball. I don't know if it's him, if it's the plays they're calling, but stop making him force the ball in tight situations when it is easy for the ball to be picked off. Okay. Can we please stop that? You have a bunch of receivers, and you got a tight end, you got Gainwell, you got Swift. I mean, you got options. Use those options, man. And audit the play if it does not fit with what you see with the defense. please just do away with the play and start over. Like you're very smart, so I know you know when you can see. But other than that, I don't want to see Quez Watkins on the field. I don't want to see that. That boy is still weak. I don't want to see that boy on the field. Zacchaeus needs to be over Quez for the rest of the season. I don't want to see Quez. So please keep him off the field.
Bro, I saw his press conference where they were asking about like the decision to not have Zacchaeus in there over Quez, and the general answer was like, "Do you see how fast Quez is? He's so fast." And it was like, "Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything if he's running slow routes and he's not catching the ball when it goes to him. Like he's got to
you're getting forced out. Like they literally just pushed you and forced you out, and that was it for you. You was out of bounds. Like boy's weak.
He's got speed, but what else does he got? What else can he do?
None. Because he was supposed to catch a ball and didn't catch a ball.
Ridiculous.
The Playmaker says, that's the only way I'm going to follow that up. Playmaker says, Darius Slay has to take chances because Zach Wilson isn't that accurate, but he will try to target Garrett Wilson. D-line take away the running game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to kind of incorporate a little bit of that, but I'm going to go in a different direction. So for me, and I don't disagree with you, Playmaker, by the way, but for me, what I think that Philly needs to do, I'm looking at from the Philly standpoint, you want to disguise things. Zach Wilson still is learning how to read defenses. Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson is still susceptible to that bait and jump, right? You know he's going to try to target Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard. We know where he's going to try to go with the ball, right? We know what he's going to try to do. So it's a matter of how can you give him pregame reads for him to believe, oh, Lazard's going to be open. But then by the time you get back with the rush coming, you got to throw that ball quickly. Mm-hmm. Lazard's not open, right? Roby's right in front of him. Let me get that. Give me that. Chris Brown, give me that. Go into the end zone, or at least getting a pick. Maybe you don't catch it. Maybe it falls down, but those type of things. You want to definitely pressure. Always pressure. I don't care if we're playing Tom Brady. Right? I know he's not playing, but I'm just trying to think of the biggest name I can. Tom Brady, right? I don't care if we play him at quarterback, Peyton Manning, whoever. Eat him alive. Every play he needs to understand that there are going to be big, angry men coming to knock him down. You need to, you know what I'm saying? Like he needs to have a little bit of fear back there. Like they're coming and they're coming quick. So I got to make a decision most often pre-snap. I may get one read and then that ball's got to be gone. That, especially for a young quarterback, can cause issues, that can cause misreads, that can cause tip balls, turnovers, balls gets batted up, guys get an opportunity to make plays on it. And attack for the run, attack for the pass, run blitz and pass blitz at the same time. We've got guys that can do that. That middle, you at least got through it half with some positive things going on there. You found some ways to maneuver that. I believe Dean's going to be back this week. Then I believe Brown's going to be back soon, hopefully this week or next week. So I believe if that happens, you're going to get some guys that can worked into that. And I think if you get more of a rotation in there, that looks a lot better than what it looks like attempting to do it with the same 2 or 3 guys, and they're having trouble. You don't really have anybody else to go to. I think learning where to be at in certain situations, which is an ongoing process for guys who were on the team before, and then even for guys who were with the new coordinators in place, that's going to be important for them. Understanding that, hey, when that comes, if I see him over there, if I see Zach Cunningham over there, don't go anywhere near Zach Cunningham. That's his zone. If I can't remember where I'm supposed to be, find an open space, and how about I try to cover whoever's in there? That type of thing, It's a lot of simple things, but it's a lot of things that we haven't done consistently this season. We did it in game 3. We didn't do it in game 4. We did a tad bit of it this past week. So putting it all together. And then you talk about the offense. There's nothing that you haven't said that can really be said besides run the ball, 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 run the ball. And then when you finish with that, guess what? Run the ball. And Hurts is a great quarterback. He'll get his numbers regardless. But 38 attempts, we want to keep that around 30. You can still get over 300 yards with as strong as your arm is and it's accurate. And remember, funny story 2 years ago, we would get a lot of debates, even in these very comments, if we said something like Jalen Hurts had a strong arm. We're not hearing that anymore. Just to digress quickly. But with as strong as his arm is and the big play receivers that he has, as at the running back position who can run running back option routes, fly routes, different things straight out of the backfield. Let him have his, but that play action. We have not used the play action pretty much at all this season. Even the big plays that we've gotten have been a called pass play, regular pass, you drop back. You're not holding the people for a second. We haven't used any trickery, any flea flickers, any of that. Everything's been line up, drop back, 3, 4, 5 steps, look down the field, hold the ball until somebody gets open, run around, try to reset and make a throw. Play action helps with that. Giving a clean pocket and you as the quarterback understanding where's the pouch in that pocket for you to sit in. So that's not always be right in the center. That may be on the left upper side because everybody's coming around trying to attack and you got the area to step up into. Same thing on the right. Sometimes it's the drop back. Sometimes it's bootlegging outside of the pocket, stopping and resetting and getting rid of the ball. Those type of things. Screenplays. All the things that we did successfully last year, Brian Johnson, I implore you, just go bring those back into your offense. And you may have them, but if you do, use them. Because we don't see them, we don't believe you have them. So there's a lot of room for us to improve for this game, but there's a lot of things that we can take as positives into this game from the win last week. And to me, that combination, the rest of the NFL should be watching out for and should be concerned about. So any other thoughts, guys?
Nah, just ready for this game at 4:25 again on Sunday.
Yeah. Don't have to deal with 1 o'clocks as much this year.
Yeah, got a lot of those nice middle of the day games, which I like. But I want to say something here. So there's a lot of people that have been talking about, the best team in the league by far is the San Francisco 49ers. No one's going to stop the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers are the number 1 team power rank. No one can stop them. They've got all the weapons. They're the best team in all the history of the NFL. Well, this is what I have to say to you.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Oh, and I got one more word. Hassan Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Okay.
And if you don't think that Philadelphia is going to get back and be better than they were last year at the end of this season, I got words for you.
And if you're not done with that, Philly's got 2 words for you.
That's real talk. And y'all know we're not ending the week before we have a special message for the New York Jets, just for the New York Jets. So New York Jets fans, sympathizers, supporters, broadcasters, equipment managers, spouses of the players, friends of the players, you know what I'm saying, significant others of the players, parents of the players, it's for all y'all. Take that. All right, so this is your guy, Cool McCain. And one more comment from Playmaker here. He says, let that darn North California fan base have their fun. They haven't won anything since the 90s. You said it, I didn't.
Right.
You said it, I didn't.
Hey, that's the LA beef.
You know what I'm
Got 2
saying?
teams over there.
Yeah.
It's like 17 teams over there, so all of them mad at each other. Like, I can't stand you. I can't stand you. I can't stand you. You know what I'm saying? Stay ain't big enough for all of us. Apparently it is. But so this is your boy Cool McCain, man. Lots of things coming. Me, I'm just gonna say the only thing I'm gonna shout out is if you're available 10 a.m. Friday mornings, go to TuneIn, WDZY FM. Click on that. You're gonna hear your boy along with my co-host. They call Sports Talk. It's later on the night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We live. Same thing. Ain't nothing changed but my lip. And there's more. Just subscribe right here at Eagles Elite Podcast. Go back to YouTube, type in Every Real Play Callers. There's more there. Let's get it. Why? What you got for the people?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wyatt Brigard, and also my other show at Cinema Trip Reviews across Twitter, Instagram, and also on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to check us out over there.
Hey, go listen to my boy Wyatt talk some movies with y'all. Let's do it.
Yeah, why let you know what it is before you go waste your money and see it? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The classics.
I'm here to help you.
We getting around Halloween, so you know you gotta be reviewing all the scary.
Yeah, I'm
scary
talking
classics.
about all the horror movies and scary
what I'm
stuff
saying?
right now. It's the best time of the year.
Check it out. Even what you got.
You can find me on any social media platform at CM Cobb. You can also find me at any major streaming platform with podcasts. I got my own podcast called Black Light Mass Incarceration Show, and we're on YouTube. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And that's all I got.
And check out the Diva. She ain't just sports. She on that serious stuff too, y'all.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Know it.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all know, before we end every episode, we always got to hit them with a Fly Eagles Fly.
Fly
Hashtag
Eagles
be elite.
Fly.
You know
Hashtag
what
be
I'm
elite.
saying?
Make sure you tell a
we,
friend. Bring a
yep.
friend or two.
Hey, bring 2
Tell your
friends,
enemy.
tell 4 of your enemies, because just because they don't like you doesn't mean they won't like us. And with that being said, we're gonna end it for the night. Make sure you get back up in here with us next week. We're gonna do it again. Hopefully it's another win, but either way, I'm sure it'll be an entertaining show. I'll let you people.
Fly.